Hello, everyone. My name is Jonna, and welcome to Relationship Advice for Women, where I advise you concerning the questions that you ask me in the best way that I know how. What are others' experiences with codependency in relationships, and how do they relate to childhood? So, the person who asked this question, of course, she's new to the group. I try to not answer questions about what other people are doing. Um, so what are others' experiences with codependency? What I would suggest is you look at the other videos that I've done where people have asked me questions, and maybe I have identified some codependent traits with the answers that I gave. If you want to know specifications of experiences with codependency, you must ask that in the group. Also, how do they relate to your childhood? You must ask that in the group. When you looked at the question before you entered, I asked you a question about your childhood trauma, and you have to tell that to me. So I don't remember your name because I try to keep everything confidential. But if you were to tell me something about how your parent harmed you, I would let you know how I can see a codependent trait that may have stemmed from that type of abuse or harm. So if you want to know that, the answer to the question you just asked, you must ask that in the group as far as it relates to other people, because I try not to answer questions like for one person for others, if that makes sense. The next question is how to know if they're pulling away because of stress or just not interested. Now, the people in the group are the one who wrote these words, and I would just rephrase this. How do you know if your partner is pulling away because of stress or just not interested? You ask them. If you get to know me, I'm a very direct person. I don't beat around the bush. If I notice there's an issue, I'm going to say, what's wrong? I notice you haven't been talking to me. Are you stressed? There must be some stress going on because you're pulling away from me. If there's not stress, what's the issue? Do you no longer want to do this? I'm very direct. So you got to make sure you ask those questions, because if you don't, you'll just be assuming. The next question is, when do you know that you're ready for marriage? So every person's maturity level is different. Marriage is very serious. It is a lifelong commitment. You don't get married to break up. So one thing you must know is that you're ready to stop dating. You've done enough dating. You've seen enough men or women. You're done, right? You're ready for a lifelong commitment. If you're not ready for a lifelong commitment, then you're not ready for marriage. Marriage is not something that you just get in and get out. Most people who get married are not trying to get divorced. Nobody really said, oh, I'm going to get married so I can get divorced. You got to be ready for a lifelong commitment. You got to be ready for war. Entering marriage is saying I'm entering a battlefield, because everything is going to come against it, right? A lot of people are going to be jealous that you've gotten married. Even you might not be able to believe that you're really married, or someone may have wanted to be with you for the rest of your life. Your inward insecurities are going to be battling what your current experience is. So, are you ready for war? Are you ready to fight for your marriage? Are you ready to forgive your spouse for things that he has done to her that will hurt you? Because in every relationship, because we are human beings, we are going to hurt each other, right? So are you ready? Are you ready for war? Are you ready for commitment? Are you ready to fight? You know, do you believe you're mature enough? Do you know what marriage is about? Are you ready for destiny? The person who you're married should match your destiny, right? If you know what you're supposed to be doing in life, that's one way that you know you're ready for marriage. One way. And then how you find that person, he needs to match your purpose. If you are interested in building a nonprofit, feeding the hungry, doing things in the community, and your spouse has no ambition, they're okay with day-to-day life, you know when you're ready for marriage, when you're ready for war, when you're ready for commitment, and when you know your purpose, when you know your destiny. Those are some aspects of you knowing that you're ready for marriage. But that might be for me. Everybody is going to be different. So you have to talk to somebody and get wise counsel, because your situation is totally unique. So I can give you a generalized answer, but specifically for you, it's going to be something different. But you can take those little tidbits and see if it's aligning. The next question is, how do I secure my relationship? So that's kind of a broad question. How do I secure my relationship? I mean, are you saying you're pursuing somebody and you want to make sure that you're able to woo them and persuade them to be yours? I can answer that in another way, though. Let me not be so close-minded. With my marriage, how do I make sure that my marriage is safe? I pray over it. I make sure that my marriage is covered by the blood of Jesus. I make sure that we are growing. I make sure that I confront issues. I make sure that I am growing as an individual. I make sure that I compromise. So growth in
It's
prayer.
2 o'clock.
That's how I secure my marriage. Now, so I was kind of confused before. I thought you were talking about secure a person or try to get a relationship with someone. But I can speak if you already are in a marriage and you want to secure that. Make sure you keep outsiders who are trying to penetrate your marriage with evil. Make sure you keep them out of it. Make sure you surround yourself with people who are uplifting and inserting positivity into your marriage. Make sure that you are around people who have the same type of purpose as you, so that they can positively influence your marriage, right? So it's about the people who you have around you. Make sure you have the right people, because bad company corrupts good character. Bad company will corrupt a good marriage. Prayer will protect your marriage. God will help guide you on the right path, right? God will correct you when you strayed away, if you allow him to. So secure your marriage with prayer, the word, growing individually, and surrounding yourself with the right people. Look how I changed that around. I had to be more open. And I'm learning to be more open-minded, so I won't box myself in. Sometimes it's kind of difficult to answer these questions when I don't know which direction you all are coming from. So please work with me. The last question we have for today is, I need help with blended family issues and being taken for granted and invalidated. So let me, this was 3 different things: blended family issues, being taken for granted, and feeling invalidated. Let's talk about being taken for granted. What do you think you're being taken for granted for, right? Are you washing the dishes every day? Are you picking the kids up from school? Are you cooking and no one's saying thank you, or they're just leaving their plates on the table? Are people not recognizing all that you're doing? Stop doing it. That's the best thing I can say. Stop doing it, right? So I'm not sure exactly what angle you're speaking from, but if you are cooking from scratch, I know someone who cooks from scratch 3 meals a day, did not feel appreciated So I believe she kind of cut back on that. I'm not quite certain, but I would stop cooking 3 meals a day. And I would probably cook, if I did cook, I would cook one meal, a big pot of spaghetti, because I still want to make sure that they've eaten, right? Because I love them, my children, right? And they will just have leftovers. If you don't appreciate me cooking 3 meals a day from scratch, then you're going to eat leftovers. Or if you don't appreciate me cooking at all, right? I might just warm you up some frozen dinners. So I would say stop doing what it is that you're doing. If you are taking your kids everywhere and they're not saying thank you, stop taking them. If you feel like you can't stop taking them because they'll get on your nerves too much in the house, send them to the park or something like that. But, stop rewarding bad behavior. If you continue to reward bad behavior, then they're going to continue to take you for granted. Let me address another issue. Invalidated. That's what you said. Invalidated. Let me make sure you're saying the right word. I don't want to say that you're saying the wrong word, but do you mean devalued? If y'all understand what she meant by that, please let me know. So let's go to the other one. Help with blended family issues. Ooh. That's going to be a tough one, because you want to accept, I don't know your specific blended family issues, but you want to accept your spouse's children, right? Because they were there before you and he loves them. So you want to accept them. But when they are disrespecting you, how do you continue to have an effective and positive relationship when there is little to no respect? That's a great question. I'm not sure. Honestly. I mean, I could say that, be patient. Yeah, we want to be patient, but how do you really blend the family? Depending on their age, the family's not going to be blended. Like, let's say if, and I can't give a definite answer, right? This is just my opinion based on my experience. If your spouse has older children, right, and they're out doing their own thing, right? Sometimes older children don't even have constant communications with their own parents, right? And sometimes the ones who do, they really don't like you that much. So is his children ever going to be blended in you all's family? Because you all might have had your own children together. They may never be blended. They may not. They're probably not meant to be blended. You might just need to respect that separate relationship. Now, if they're smaller children, you definitely want to seek counseling, because I don't have a great answer for that, especially if those small children are disrespectful. I don't have the best answer for that, but I dare you to ask it in the group, because I'm sure someone else will. So that is all we have from those 5 questions. Now let's go into the answers that you all have given me to the question that I have. And I'm kind of looking around right now just to make sure I'm keeping up with time. Okay, so parents, how have they harmed you when you were children? One person said emotional, physical abuse, condescending, and shutting down. Y'all help me out with that one. Give me an example of how someone could be condescending. Shutting down. A parent shutting down on a child. Don't think I've ever experienced that, but that has to feel like rejection. It really does. Abandoned me. My parents abandoned me when I was younger, and that really hurt. Obviously that would hurt, because why would your parents just leave you like that? And some people abandoned by dying, but other people just abandoned like they got up and left. They had given them to aunts and uncles to raise. And, as children, they don't understand that you could have been, or the parent could have been on drugs and, was not in a position to properly raise you. So that they could have been looking at it as helping you, but you looked at it as you were abandoned. Maybe if they were in your life, they would have harmed you more than helped you. I'm not condoning what they did. I'm just giving you another way to look at that. But either way, without I'm not trying to neglect or discredit how you feel. Any child who's been abandoned by their parent is obviously going to be hurt by that. So the next one is you are hurt because that's disgusting. Your mother allowed her boyfriend, it's not disgusting for you, it's disgusting for a mother to allow her boyfriend to sexually penetrate you at the age of 8. I don't know why someone would do that, but that's gross. Why would you allow, first of all, I've spoken to other mothers who, they have younger children and they're separated from the children's father. They don't even let a man near their children. But to let a man stay in your house, and then allow them to penetrate while, you just stole your child's innocence. And then her mother, or, the person who wrote this, the mother, you're not even looked at as a protective figure anymore. So who can this child go to now? The one person who was supposed to protect her allowed someone else to destroy her innocence. We got to be very, very, very careful with the relationships that we have. A man who wants to penetrate an 8-year-old, especially while he's with you, something's wrong with him. But the fact that you want to be with him, you might need to seek the Lord Jesus Christ to figure out, why do you want a man who wants to sexually penetrate your 8-year-old daughter? That woman's probably not in this group, but it might be some women in this group who are letting men molest their children. You gotta be very careful with the people who you bring around your children. You gotta be very careful about what you allow to enter into your mind to make you attracted to someone like that. Because we are responsible for what happens to our children. Whether it be in this life or the afterlife, you and me are responsible for what happens to our children when they are not yet of age. I thank you all so much for participating. Always, I really appreciate it. It keeps the dialogue open in this group. It helps me to really think about what's going on in this world, and with many, many relationships, how they have so many similarities.